I was one of the first people on YouTube posting jazz video content. 2006, March 2006, the Jazz Video Guy channel started. Amazing how the world has changed in 11 years. Good and bad. Bush was the president then. Then Obama, now we have, let's see, who's the president now? Some guy, Trump? I don't know. Anybody know anything about this guy, Trump? He doesn't like jazz, that's for sure. It's a dry heat. Yeah, Nick, it's 115 out here. It's a dry heat, but so's an oven. I like Tucson. Except I hate hot weather, but there's something, got a fan over here, something wonderful called air conditioning. So when I started doing this jazz video guy thing, Alex Koch, it's an interesting last name. Are you in relation to the Koch brothers? Actually, they spell it K-O-C-H. Or maybe Coca-Cola. Sorry about that. When I started doing this jazz video guy thing, I was one of the first people posting jazz content on YouTube. Response was great initially. I felt compelled to do this for several reasons. One, because I love jazz. I have since I was a kid. Music speaks to me. When I first heard Maynard Ferguson and Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie, and Lee Morgan, it reached out to me. Actually, the beginning of it, I must have been 6 or 7 years old. I heard Louis Armstrong on the Ed Sullivan Show. And that was Amsterdam. Hello, Amsterdam. I bet it's cooler in Amsterdam. What is that place in Amsterdam? The BIM House? I've been to Amsterdam once. I thought it was one of the coolest places in the world. Just like the environment there, the people. So, heard Louis Armstrong, started playing the trumpet when I was 10 or 11. By the time I was 12, I was seriously listening to jazz. By the time I was 13, I started to go to concerts when I could. I lived in West Hartford, Connecticut, halfway between New York and Boston. A lot of musicians passing through to play concerts and gigs for the weekend up in Boston. And they would come through Hartford and I'd see them on a Sunday night. By the time I was 16, I had seen Cannonball Adderley, Yusef Lateef, Rahsaan Roland Kirk, Maynard Ferguson. Just incredible. So I grew up on the music, loved it. Never really a good trumpet player, but moved to New York to go to NYU Film School, started hanging out in jazz clubs, started writing about musicians, published a lot of articles, and went to film school, made some films, but took a detour as a jazz journalist. Then the internet came along, returned to filmmaking in 2004, 2006 on YouTube, determined to document the music and to share it because of my love for it and what I perceive as the need. Lately, I think that need is stronger than ever. I believe that my role, my mission, is to get this music out there to as many people as possible. I once said I want to keep jazz from becoming invisible, which I hope it will never become. I don't think it will. I personally think jazz has a worldwide audience and always will. There's something about this music that speaks to me and I think speaks to many other people as well. I think that accounts for the music's popularity, although it is certainly not something like Rolling Stones or Ariel Grande or something like that. Nevertheless, I started producing a lot of original video. Lately, more archival stuff. I posted something on Facebook the other day. It was a picture of Jimmy Heath, Frank West, and James Moody. I said, these are men of substance. These are men of great creativity. These are men who speak the truth. These are men of compassion. These are my role models. And thank you, Henry Paul. I appreciate the kind words. Not many role models in our society now. turn on the media. I don't know how it is over there in Amsterdam, but in the United States, we are being bombarded with a wave of negativity from that horrible man in the White House with the orange hair, that fat bastard. I won't say anything else about him. But every time you pick up a newspaper, if you still read newspapers, every time you turn on the TV to a news channel, when you're on Facebook, there's this constant stream of this negative stuff. I want to put something else out there, and that's what I'm doing, because I believe that what's happening with this music is unique. Although it's not an area where you can make a lot of money, I can tell you there are hundreds of musicians who show up in New York City every year, maybe thousands, on a regular basis, who heard something in this music and they want to play it, to share it. They don't know how they're going to make a living, but they do it nevertheless. And thank you to Donnie Bryant for the kind words. Where are you located, Donnie? Where are you located, Henry? Just curious where you guys are tuning in from. So, I've done a lot of archival stuff lately. I've been lucky to find a lot of video of different performances from European television and other places. Some of it's in the public domain. Some of it, the copyrights are a little uncertain. If I put something up and someone has a problem with it, I'll take it right down. But nevertheless, there is a lot of stuff out there, and I want to put it up. I mean, I've been listening to Dizzy Gillespie for more than 50 years, and he still speaks to me, and I'm posting Dizzy Gillespie videos. I found a performance he did in London, 64, 65, with James Moody. Just incredible. Music is eternal. These people leave us. Certainly the major innovators in the music have left us from the bebop era and the next generation of John Coltrane. Sonny Rollins is still with us. Benny Golson, Jimmy Heath is 90, going to be 91. They're still doing it, but because of the power of this music, a lot of young people, hey, I want to play it. I want to be part of it. So, and incredible jazz education movement all over the planet. I think it's wonderful. I'm glad about that. Henry Paul says he's an aspiring jazz pianist in Nashville. Do you know Jeff Coffin? He's a sax player I know from Nashville. I was down there once. I was shooting a Ray Charles mini documentary. And I went down there to the Country Music Hall of Fame and also to Johnny Cash's house. And I did an interview with Johnny Cash's son, John Carter Cash, I believe his name was. Nice fellow. And I saw a group in Nashville. It was a big band, and I forget the name of it. There's a great trumpeter there, George Tidwell. He's in Nashville. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, says Donnie Bryant. Yes, that's the home of the Manchester Craftsmen's Guild. My friend Marty, whose last name escapes me, I'm going to say Marty Ehrlich, he's a sax player. This is one of the perils of being on the wrong side of 60. Sometimes these names, these words, you can't recall them. It's like it's in a file, and you cannot open up the file. And then later on, of course, Marty Ashby. Thank you very much. Yeah, Marty Ashby, his brother is a wonderful trombonist as well. Marty has done great things bringing jazz to Philadelphia. To Pittsburgh, excuse me. And, that's what it is. And, there's different individuals. If perhaps one of the major people involved in promoting the music now is Spike Wilner, who started a place called Smalls, put in a live webcam, broadcast live from there. I guess he started that about 8 or 9 years ago. Now he's got Smalls, he's got Mesro. He's built up an incredible community with those two clubs and with the live broadcasts that he does from there. Go to smallslive.com and you can see these live broadcasts from Smalls and Mesro every night. And Spike has set up a very interesting revenue system where musicians actually get paid when people purchase their music or purchase their videos. One of the perils of YouTube is musicians don't get compensated. I'm not going to go into that rap right now. Henry Paul says he loves Jeff Coffin. He's a huge inspiration. I see him play every so often. Yeah, Jeff's a great cat. He's an educator, wonderful musician. I haven't talked to him in a while. I know he was playing for a number of years with Bella Fleck and the Flecktones, and then also the Dave Matthews Band, I think he's still with. And he does a lot of stuff. Jeff's a great player. So say hello to Jeff for me next time you see him, Henry. So as I said, different groups in different cities, different individuals who are taking charge because they love the music and presenting it. There's a guy up in Syracuse, Frank Malfitano, who produces a jazz festival up there. I think he's been doing it 25 years, 30 years. Just his dedication to his music and just wants to get it out there. I'm working on a project right now with a gentleman named Julie Loken, who people don't know his name, but he was a producer of concerts in New York. He did had a company called New Audiences, and they produced incredible concerts. It started out, they did a Charles Mingus and Friends concert at Philharmonic Hall in 1972, at a time when there weren't very many concerts happening in New York. And the concert was a huge success, and that gave birth to New Audiences, and they produced, over the next 30 years, a lot of fantastic concerts. Sonny Rollins and Woody Herman, Stan Getz, Weather Report, Lonnie Liston Smith and the Cosmic Echoes. A lot of great concerts. Not really very active right now. The concert scene has changed a bit. But my point is, there are people who love this music who are presenting it in different cities around the world. I'm doing this jazz video guy thing here on YouTube, but there are individuals in each city who believe in this music. Ron from Jersey, did I ever see Morris Nanton at Shanghai Jazz? I never went to Shanghai Jazz. Well, I lived in New York. I moved to the desert in 2001. If I'm not mistaken, Shanghai Jazz is a club. It's either in Weehawken or Jersey City. It's on the water. So, in answer to your question, Ron, no, I didn't see Morris Nanton. I recognize the name. I think, is he a pianist? Let me see here. Pardon the side of my head. Morris Nanton is... Oh, he passed away. Played a trio. He passed away in 2009. If it's the same one. Yeah. No, I don't know Morris Nanton. I don't know his music. But thanks for turning me on to him, and I will definitely check him out. There's a lot of what we call unsung heroes in jazz. People who play this music, maybe not on a full-time basis, on a part-time basis. And it's something that they devote their lives to. Maybe we know them in a smaller town, in an individual city, but most people don't know them, so they become like unsung heroes. There's an organization called the Jazz Journalists Association, and I find myself on my page here, and I'm not there. Okay. I'll get this live thing together. It's a little confusing. Computers, technology, it can really kick your ass. And live streaming. I did one of the first live streaming events on the web in 1999. In fact, you can see some of it here on YouTube. I did a live broadcast, I guess it was December 1999, from Birdland in New York, with the Saxophone Summit. It was Dave Liebman, Joe Lovano, and Michael Brecker. When I think of Michael, I got to pause for a second there. And we did it, I don't know how many people saw it at the time. It was before cable modems or DSL. Got my adjectives confused here. It was before fast internet, so we had no business putting a live video stream on there at the time. But nevertheless, we did it, and it was very complicated. It was very expensive. Now it's less complicated, and it's really not expensive at all. But it's still a little confusing, and I'm still getting it together. Each week I get it. I'm doing these broadcasts once a week now. Each week I get it together. It's a little bit better. It's going to take me a few months until I really got it down. I'm going to be broadcasting here on the Jazz Video Guy channel. I'm going to set up a channel about filmmaking, which is what I do. I have a new project called Ask a Filmmaker, which is about empowering people to make their own movies. Because you've got a smartphone, you're a filmmaker now. Thanks for the kind words, Henry. That was a remarkable night. I'm very, very lucky in my life to have known and worked with some incredible creators like Dave Liebman and Michael Brecker. Got some videos of Michael Brecker. I did an interview with him. Other things. Of course, I think the first time I heard Michael was on the Horace Silver record, In Pursuit of the 27th Man. That track, Gregory Is Here. I heard that. It was in the early 70s. You hear certain music, you hear a certain track, and it just jumps out at you. Brecker's solo on Gregory Is Here. Who is that guy? And his brother was on there as well. They're great, Brecker brothers. I love them. I ended up knowing them. Randy is a friend still. I hope to do a series on here where I actually do live interviews. That's something I'm working on. Michael left us much too soon, tragically. Physically, he's gone. His music is here. Ronnie Cooper. I don't believe it. Ronnie Cooper is on here. Well, hello, Ronnie. I did some interviews with Ronnie last year that you may have seen here on Facebook. Ronnie and I go way back. First of all, Ronnie is one of the great baritone sax players in jazz. And he's also one of the most interesting, funniest guys that I know. And I mentioned Maynard Ferguson before. When I was a kid, Maynard Ferguson was one of my idols. And when I was 15 years old, I went to Lake Compounds. This was in Bristol, Connecticut. They used to have these big band concerts, and I saw Maynard Ferguson for the first time. And it blew my mind. When you're a kid and you played the trumpet, Maynard Ferguson still blows my mind. And I heard him live, and Ronnie Cooper was in the band that night. He was with Maynard, I guess, 63 to 66, something like that. And when I moved to New York and I moved to the Upper West Side, we met. He came to a party that I gave, I guess it was 78 or 79. We've kind of been friends since then. And his ex-wife is a friend of mine, Roberta Arnold. And last year I decided to do a little, actually I did a FaceTime interview with Ronnie. So I'd like to do more stuff if you're still watching, Ronnie. I can't pay you. There's no money in this. But Ronnie has incredible stories. Jump on my channel, search for Ronnie Cooper, and you get a chance to experience his stories and his sense of humor. And if you ever get a chance to see him play live, he is a monster, Ronnie Cooper. He is one of the greats. I don't want to say he's an unsung hero because some people know about him. But he is an incredible baritone player. And I said before, I'm a very lucky guy because I've been listening to this music all my life, and I got to know a lot of these people. I mean, I could have never predicted when I was 15 years old that I would know Ronnie Cooper or Micah Benny, the pianist in the band, or that I would actually use my technology and my creativity to do an interview with Maynard Ferguson, which is also up here on YouTube. I interviewed Maynard for his 70th birthday. So this idea that I started listening to the music when I was a kid, and then actually got to people, got to know these people, got to work with them. They became my friends. Incredible. I guess I was just destined to do this work. Hi to Jay Lewis, who talks about live stream. Live stream is a live streaming service similar to what's going on here on YouTube and also on Facebook. I know that Jazz at Lincoln Center utilizes live stream. They do. If you go to the Jazz at Lincoln Center website, you'll find a number of live broadcasts that are archived from Lincoln Center. And this I just love live streaming. The fact that Spike Wilner does the live streams from Smalls. I've been watching also with Facebook now. Easier to do live streams on Facebook. I know that there's a jazz club in Taiwan called Sappho, Sapho, I think it's spelled. My daughter lives in Taiwan. I've been there 4 times. I love it there. Jazz musicians there, not surprisingly, of course. Hello, Dan from Detroit. You got that great jazz festival coming up in Labor Day weekend, the Detroit Jazz Festival. Anybody from the Midwest, you want to hear great live jazz, go to Detroit. But back to live streaming. I think in the future, all jazz clubs are going to be doing live streaming. As the technology becomes easier, cheaper, it's a way to market the music, market the club. And I also think that we're going to see live streams from jazz festivals. I mean, check this out. I don't know if anyone, maybe Alex has been to the North Sea Jazz Festival. It's an annual event in the Netherlands. When I was there in '97, it was in The Hague. Now I think it's in Rotterdam. And it's from a giant convention center. And they literally have 15 different stages happening at once. When I was there, they had a solo piano room. Maybe there were, 50, 100 seats in their small room. And then there was up to a large space where they had 15,000 people. I saw Earth, Wind, and Fire. So over the course of a 3-day weekend, they have hundreds of different groups playing. I don't know about you, but I'd be willing to pay, $20, $25 to be able to sit in front of my computer or my TV and watch and listen to music from the North Sea Jazz Festival, especially if I had the ability to go from room to room. Certainly the technology is there to do this. Of course, the people who own clubs and performance venues, some of them who aren't familiar with this technology and its possibilities, they will say, well, if I stream the music live, why would anybody come to see it? Why would anybody pay for it? Well, look what happened at Smalls. Spike Wilner put up a live webcam, and the reputation of the club grew. People all over the world watched that live stream, and now, when people come to New York City, they get off the plane, the first place they go is Smalls. So, club owners, concert promoters, you got to start doing live streaming. This is how people are going to be able to find out about the music. Also, not all of us live in a big city or a place where jazz is presented on a regular basis. So, thank God for Smalls. Thank God for Spike Wilner and what he's doing with Smalls and Mesro. I am able to check out music that I couldn't hear. I live in Tucson, Arizona. There's not a lot of jazz here. There's maybe one really good player on each instrument, a couple of performance venues. We have an annual jazz festival in January. Jazz enthusiast Yvonne Irvin produces it. It's great. It's short. In fact, I know that Alex mentioned up ahead there that he saw Lou Tobacco. Lou Tobacco is going to be here in January. So it's an opportunity for those of us who live in Tucson to hear some great music. And we get the occasional concert, but that's it. I'm 100 miles from Phoenix. Not much there. There's a wonderful performance facility called the Nash, named after Lewis Nash, who was born in Phoenix. Louis Nash, great drummer, fantastic drummer. Each town is a little space, depending on the size of the town, more, bigger, smaller. Live streaming is a way to get the music out there. And it's a way for those of us to see and hear music live that we wouldn't be able to hear any other way. So thank you, Spike Wellner, and thank you to the people who are giving us these live streams. Well, I'm going to end here for today. It's been fun. I'm still getting this technology together. My goal is to do these live interviews with musicians like Randy Brecker and Dave Liebman and so many others that I know, as I'll learn how to use this better. Also, I want to do demonstrations, how to edit, how to shoot, things like that. But I'm in the beginner phase here. I'm getting a good picture now. I'm happy with I'm satisfied with the quality of the image, and that's a positive thing. But I still have a bit of a way to go here in terms of trying to master the technology. I'm a newbie. So I will see you next week. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your support of what I'm doing. Blessings to all.